In a world that often encourages conformity, it can be challenging to navigate the path of authenticity, to live in accordance with our own internal compass rather than the dictates of external expectations. We are bombarded with messages about who we should be, what we should value, and how we should live our lives. It's easy to lose sight of our own internal voice amidst the noise and clamor of the world around us, but existentialism reminds us that authenticity is not a destination, but a journey, a lifelong process of self-discovery and self-creation. It's about peeling back the layers of societal conditioning, questioning the narratives we've been told about ourselves, and uncovering the core values and beliefs that resonate with our truest selves. This process of self-discovery can be both exhilarating and terrifying. It requires us to confront our shadows, to acknowledge the parts of ourselves that we may have tried to suppress or deny. It demands honesty, vulnerability, and a willingness to embrace the full complexity of our being. But it's in this embrace of our wholeness, our flaws and imperfections included, that we discover our true strength. When we live authentically, we stop trying to fit ourselves into boxes that don't belong to us. We give ourselves permission to be fully human, to embrace the messy, imperfect, and utterly unique individuals that we are. And in that embrace, we find a freedom that no external force can ever take away. One of the most profound and perhaps unsettling aspects of existentialism is the realization that life has no inherent meaning. There is no grand plan, no cosmic blueprint, no preordained purpose waiting to be discovered. We are not born into the world with a predetermined role to play or a specific script to follow. The meaning of our lives is not bestowed upon us. It is something we create through our choices, our actions, and the way we choose to engage with the world around us. This realization can be both liberating and terrifying. On the one hand, it frees us from the constraints of external expectations, from the pressure to conform to societal norms, or to live up to someone else's definition of success. We are free to define our own values, to create our own meaning, and to live lives that are true to our own unique and ever-evolving selves. On the other hand, this freedom can also feel daunting. It places the responsibility of creating meaning squarely on our own shoulders. It asks us to confront the existential questions that have haunted humanity for centuries. What is the purpose of life? What does it mean to live a good life? What is my place in the grand scheme of things? There are no easy answers to these questions, no pre-packaged solutions or one-size-fits-all answers. But that's precisely the point. The beauty of existentialism lies in its embrace of ambiguity, in its insistence that we are free to create our own meaning, to find our own answers to life's big questions. It's a call to live with intention, to embrace the present moment, and to make choices that reflect our deepest values and aspirations. It's a reminder that we are not simply passengers on a predetermined journey. We are the authors of our own stories, the creators of our own meaning, and the architects of our own destinies. Existentialism, for all its philosophical depth, is not a philosophy confined to ivory towers and abstract thought experiments. Its true power lies in its ability to transform the everyday, to infuse the mundane with a sense of meaning and purpose. It's about recognizing that freedom is not something we achieve at some distant point in the future, but something we cultivate in the here and now, in the smallest of moments, in the seemingly insignificant choices that make up our days. Consider the act of waking up in the morning. For many, it's a dreaded necessity, a jarring transition from the comfort of sleep to the demands of the day ahead. But what if we were to approach this daily ritual with a renewed sense of awareness, a recognition that even in this seemingly mundane act, we have a choice? We can choose to hit the snooze button and surrender to the inertia of routine, or we can choose to greet the day with intention, with gratitude for the gift of another sunrise, another opportunity to create, to connect, to experience the fullness of being alive. This shift in perspective, from seeing ourselves as passive recipients of our circumstances to active participants in the unfolding of our lives, is at the heart of everyday freedom. It's about recognizing that even in the midst of our daily routines, we have the power to choose our attitude, our mindset, and the energy we bring to each interaction. It's about finding moments of joy in the unexpected, cultivating gratitude for the simple things, and approaching each day with a sense of curiosity and wonder. It's in these seemingly insignificant moments, in the spaces between our obligations and responsibilities, that we often discover the greatest freedom. It's in the quiet moments of reflection, in the spontaneous bursts of laughter, in the simple acts of kindness and connection that we truly come alive. And it's in these moments when we are fully present and engaged with the world around us that we begin to glimpse the true potential of our own existence. We often think of freedom in grand terms, imagining lives of adventure, risk-taking and radical change. But the truth is, true freedom is often found in the smallest of choices, in the daily decisions that shape the course of our lives, one seemingly insignificant moment at a time. It's in the way we choose to respond to a stressful situation, in the words we choose to speak to a loved one, in the actions we take to align ourselves with our values, even when it's difficult. Consider the act of saying yes to something that scares you, something that pushes you outside your comfort zone. It could be as simple as trying a new hobby, striking up a conversation with a stranger, or speaking up for what you believe in even when your voice trembles. These small acts of courage, these seemingly insignificant choices to step outside the familiar and embrace the unknown, have the power to transform our lives in profound ways. Each time we choose courage over comfort, authenticity over conformity, we chip away at the walls we've built around our hearts, the walls that keep us small and safe and disconnected from the fullness of life. We begin to realize that true freedom is not about living without fear, but about living in spite of it. It's about acknowledging our fears, honoring their wisdom, and then choosing to act in alignment with our values, even when our knees are shaking. These small acts of courage, these seemingly insignificant choices to show up as our truest selves, have a ripple effect, not just in our own lives, but in the lives of those around us. When we choose to live authentically, we give others permission to do the same. We inspire those around us to embrace their own unique gifts, to step into their own power, and to create lives that are true reflections of their own heart's desires. Our relationships are often the most fertile ground for exploring the complexities of existential freedom and responsibility. It's in the crucible of intimacy, in the dance between our own needs and the needs of others, that we confront the true nature of our own being. It's in these relationships with partners, family members, friends, and colleagues that we learn the delicate art of balancing our own individual freedom with the responsibility that comes with loving and being loved. Existentialism challenges us to approach our relationships with a radical sense of honesty and authenticity. It encourages us to move beyond the roles and expectations that society often prescribes, and to engage with each other as the complex, ever-evolving beings that we are. It's about communicating our needs and desires clearly and respectfully, while also being open to hearing and understanding the needs and desires of others. This level of honesty and vulnerability can be both challenging and rewarding. It requires us to let go of the need to control, to manipulate, or to mold others into who we want them to be. It asks us to embrace the messy, imperfect, and often unpredictable nature of human connection, to accept that love does not exist in a vacuum, but rather thrives in the fertile ground of mutual respect, open communication, and a willingness to grow alongside one another. When we approach our relationships with this level of intention and authenticity, we create the space for profound intimacy and growth. We learn to see each other not as extensions of ourselves or as objects to fulfill our needs, but as autonomous individuals with their own unique paths to walk. We begin to view our relationships not as sources of security or validation, but as opportunities for mutual support, shared growth, and the expansion of our own hearts. It's in these authentic connections, these brave spaces of shared vulnerability, that we discover the true meaning of love and the transformative power of human connection. One of the greatest paradoxes of freedom is that it requires us to embrace the possibility of failure. When we are truly free to choose, to forge our own paths and create our own meaning, we inevitably encounter setbacks, disappointments, and moments when we fall short of our own expectations. It's easy in those moments to succumb to self-doubt, to allow the fear of failure to paralyze us, to keep us tethered to the familiar, even when our souls are yearning for something more. But existentialism reminds us that failure is not the opposite of success. It's an integral part of the journey. It's in our failures, in our missteps and wrong turns, that we often learn the most valuable lessons about ourselves It's in those moments of apparent defeat that we discover our resilience, our capacity for growth, and our unwavering commitment to living a life that is true to our own unique vision. Embracing imperfection is not about celebrating mediocrity or resigning ourselves to a life of half-hearted attempts. It's about recognizing that we are all works in progress, constantly evolving, learning, and growing. It's about giving ourselves permission to stumble, to fall, to make mistakes, without allowing those experiences to define us or to diminish our sense of worthiness. When we embrace imperfection, we free ourselves from the tyranny of perfectionism, from the need to have it all figured out, to always get it right. We create the space to experiment, to take risks, to step outside our comfort zones, knowing that even if we fail, we will learn and grow from the experience. We begin to see our mistakes not as evidence of our shortcomings, but as opportunities for course correction, for refining our approach, and for deepening our understanding of ourselves and the world around us.